Hi everybody, my name is 𝐿𝐞𝐭 and welcome to another Stukent expert session. Today our guest speaker will be 𝐂𝐿𝐿 Cannell. 𝐂𝐿 is a YouTuber, international speaker, and business coach who built a 7-figure media company that helps entrepreneurs and creatives build their influence and income with online video. 𝐂𝐿's YouTube channel has over 700,000 subscribers and his videos have been viewed over 43 million times. He has been featured on Forbes as one of the 20 must-watch YouTube channels that will change your business. 𝐂𝐿 is from Arlington, Washington, and currently lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, with his wife Sonja and their 2 dogs, Rosie and Sophie. Hey, we're stoked to have you on, 𝐂𝐿. Take it away.
Well, hey, thank you so much for that introduction. I am 𝐂𝐿 Cannell, and I'm super pumped to be here and get to talk to you students today about the power of YouTube and social media. So let's jump into it.
Awesome. Thanks, 𝐂𝐿. We are excited to have you. So we have a list of questions. Excited to go through these questions with an expert like 𝐂𝐿. And without any further ado, we're just going to jump right in to the questions and start learning. So 𝐂𝐿, you want to give us just a brief history of how and why you got into YouTube and just video marketing in general?
Yeah, so when I first got into video, it was actually back in 2003, and I was volunteering at my local church an hour north of Seattle in a small town. And the youth pastor actually handed me a video camera and Adobe Premiere, the video editing software, to edit on. And I started, and I actually still edit on Adobe Premiere like 100 versions later today. And I started making videos every Wednesday night for our youth group. And I'll tell you this though, your first videos are always your worst videos. You know, I hope nobody ever sees those. But I was glad I got it started. And this was years before social media started. YouTube started in 2005, Facebook in 2007, Instagram in 2010. But it was nice because I was learning the discipline of creating weekly content. And actually by 2014, or 2004, I should say, a year later, the lead pastor of that church was like, can you make these on Sundays as well? And so now I was doing 2 videos a week as a volunteer and just kind of learning how to edit faster and figuring out the software. And so I think this is a good principle, especially for students. You want to do as much volume of creative as you can. You want to just, I think, working on different projects, exporting as many videos as you can or as many Photoshop files as you can, because you got to get that experience underneath your belt. And that was really where I was getting that experience. And so fast forward, I eventually started a video production business in 2009. I did a few other projects until over the last 3 years, I've now been really a full-time entrepreneur, full-time YouTuber, basically, growing myself and now even a team out of Las Vegas. And it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Huge advocate of learning through iteration. So that's a cool upbringing and story there. So question number 2, you mentioned YouTube is kind of where you started back in the beginning. What do students need to know right now in 2018, moving on to 2019, about growing a YouTube channel? Maybe what's different, or what are you foreseeing to change that would require them to do things differently?
Great question. Yeah, and I actually should have mentioned that the first YouTube channel that I ever managed or worked on was my church's in 2007. So just 2 years after YouTube started. Then in 2010, I started creating my own channels and helping other businesses with their YouTube presence. And so I have been really a part of YouTube. I've seen it change over the years, and it definitely is a different season now. The reality is it is more competitive. It is more saturated. And I think the best way to understand winning on YouTube now and the differences is the difference between chess and checkers. You know, in 2010 or before, if you did a few things right, if you just were pumping out content, good titles, thumbnails, some decent videos, if you're playing checkers, which does take strategy, right? Which does take some level of planning, and it does take some skill, then you could win. But now in 2018, 2019, you can still really break through on YouTube, but I think you have to be playing chess. That's another level of strategy. There's more moves to make. And that just speaks to things like, you know, a lot of times when people start on YouTube, they had no clue of what they were gonna do. They're just doing random videos, just random content. And sometimes like it was all new. Everyone was like, whoa, look at this thing. And you're watching it. Now I think more than ever, it matters that you have a clear kind of target audience. You have a clarity about what your channel is about, who's it for, and the value proposition, what you're going to be doing on that channel. So for example, you know, you might have a trick shot channel. That's pretty obvious, and that's pretty popular for students and younger people, where they do like the crazy, ridiculous basketball shots or the crazy soccer kicks off of 4 buildings and then it hits the goal. So something like that, like, you know that you have a niche, a niche, and you keep building up around that. Or you might be doing some like how to survive college. There's some great channels out there that even talk about tips for surviving college or dorm life or different things like that. But the thing is, a lot of people, this is one of the biggest mistakes people make, is they're like, hey, just subscribe to my channel. It's the Sean channel. Some days I'm just gonna like show you what I'm eating for lunch. Some days I'm just gonna tell you my thoughts. Some days I'm gonna do whatever. And that just, in my opinion, is gonna be a chance of really not succeeding. Like, the chances are slim if you go that direction. But if you plant a flag around something you're passionate, maybe it's like a game you play, whether that's like, maybe it's old school, you play board games or like D&D or something like that, or online games or different things. When you plant a flag around a specific niche, you can really rally people that are interested in that. And I think that's critical to breaking through and then staying consistent in that niche. It's tough because we're all multifaceted. We all have multi-passions, and sometimes we want to include all of those. But you know, if I'm watching CNN, I want the news. If CNN all of a sudden had a stand-up comic come on, I'd be like, yo, I didn't flip the channel to Comedy Central. I can change the channel if I wanted a different type of content. But yet on YouTube, sometimes we do that. We're just all over the place. You really want your channel, even using that analogy, to kind of be like a TV network. You might have a variety of shows, but the TV network is the cohesive brand on that channel. If it's Comedy Central, it could be vlogs, it could be this, but it's all about making people laugh. It's all about comedy. If it is news, there's a great YouTuber named Phil DeFranco who he includes a lot of different elements in his shows, but it's the same thing all the time. He's giving you kind of his YouTube take on the news. Extremely popular YouTuber, has built his influence. So I'd really encourage students, figure out a niche and niche down. In internet marketing, there's actually a phrase that they talk about: the riches are in the niches. And so there's something powerful about having a specific niche when it comes to winning on YouTube.
Nice. Okay, so as a student, we just planted our flag in our niche. I think I'm kind of nervous to be on camera. What tips, maybe you were just born natural to just be on camera, but for those who weren't born naturally to just flourish on camera, what tips do you have to help those of us get over the fear of pushing the camera button on and knowing that you are now in front of who knows who?
Absolutely. You know, I think that is sometimes our belief. Obviously, people have different DNA, different confidence levels and personalities, but getting on camera is kind of like doing anything for the first time. You kind of have to just do it the Nike way, which is just do it. And I like to compare it to, say, like even going to the gym, right? And if I'm on campus and I'm going to the gym and maybe I haven't been working out, that's the worst place you could ever go ever, right? You walk in, you're like, I'm not wearing the right clothes. Like, you don't even know how to do the machine. You walk over to the machines, there's like a picture, you're doing it backwards, like people are laughing at you. Plus you're out of shape, so you're like sweating like crazy, all this kind of stuff. When you go to the gym for the first time, it sucks. When you get on the camera for the first time, it's not going to be that good. You know, your first videos are going to be your worst videos, but you got to get through those. And eventually you roll into the gym, you like fist bump the guy at the counter. You're like, what's up, bro? Now you like, people know you by name. You're a little bit stronger. So you really just have to put in that volume and that repetition, you know, punch perfectionism in the face, punch fear in the face, and press record. But practically, one thing I would encourage students to do is to practice maybe on a Stories app. And so we've had some people in our community do this. Now there's Instagram stories. A few people did it on Snapchat. And what they did was they weren't actually trying to like grow their Snapchat following. They weren't even really letting people know that anybody was there. But what they committed to, I'm thinking of Heather actually as one example. And what she did was she would make a video every single day, and she did this for 6 months. And a story technically has a beginning, middle, and end. So let's say you were just like helping people with math, you know, you're like, today I'm going to give you how I learned how to, you know, solve complex equations. So that's like your first story. You hold it down 10 seconds. Then you're like, so what I like to do, and I don't know if this could fit in like 30 seconds, but you know, whatever. And then you do that middle one. And then at the end you say, so thanks for checking out this video. I'll be back tomorrow with another quick math tip. And when Heather first started doing that, it was awkward. She deleted it 100 times. She didn't like doing it, but she committed to doing that for 6 months before she started her YouTube channel. And guess what? When she started her YouTube channel, she was at a whole nother level of confidence. She had done just the daily discipline of grabbing your smartphone and just recording a little bit of micro content to, again, kind of get the cobwebs out, to build that confidence up, to get used to hearing yourself on camera, which you probably won't like it, right? You're probably like, I really sound like that. You just have to get over all of that stuff. And so I want to encourage you, you really just got to do it. And that people do say now you appear more confident on camera. You appear as if, you know, this isn't challenging for you. And I think you'd probably be more confident than me if you've been doing it as long and have uploaded as many videos, right? I mean, I mentioned 2003. It's been 15 years of awkwardness, of weird videos, of not feeling super confident. But now, just by sheer repetition, I've been able to do it. And the sooner you get started, the sooner you're going to feel comfortable. You know, these are one of the skills that every student needs to, I think, have, whether you ever really become a YouTuber or even go after building a brand. I mean, just being on a webinar like this, being on Zoom conferences, creating content, communicating within a company in video content, or working for a company where you're not really your own personal brand, but you're representing another brand and you're doing the news show, or you're updating the customers, or you're doing tutorials. This is just kind of a modern skill set that every student would benefit from learning. And so the sooner you get started, the better.
Love that. To kind of chime in on there, here at Stukent, it's not just our marketing team who is on video. We've actually turned that over to customer support and our sales team, where we're not just replying to a customer with text, we're replying in a video message. And there's been a lot of training that we've had to go through, but knowing these skills, knowing these things that Sean just talked about, and jumping into a company and already having that experience, I mean, I can't even imagine the added value that you can bring to your next employer or your first employer out of school, having that, I guess, confidence and on-camera ability. So let's talk tools, hardware, software. As you can tell, I'm yellow, so I'm not doing a very good job of lighting and things like that. Sean looks great. What hardware, tools, camera, for those of us who are just starting out, what kind of an investment does that look like?
Yeah, well, I think that level one is just your smartphone. I think that's what's really encouraging, is that every student watching probably's got one of these, and every single one now shoots HD video, at least, if not 4K. And so on here, I've got a pop socket. That is a little hack, $10, you know, and you're able to have your phone not drop, especially if it's a little bit heavier. And so that's a pop socket. But besides that, you're pretty much good to go, right? And we are all kind of content creators, whether that's Instagram stories, you could go Facebook Live right from your smartphone. What I would recommend is that this is the best way to get started, even for YouTube. You can download editing software even on your phone, shoot the content on your phone, edit it up, upload it right from your phone. So you can get started. One of the biggest things I see is that a lot of times we use not having gear or the need to get a camera really as an excuse to not start. And the best thing to do would be to get your first video up in the next 48 hours right off your smartphone, because you can always upgrade as you go. Now, the next level would be a few accessories. You know, cameras work really off lighting, and a lot of times people will even tolerate lower video quality, but bad audio quality can be very distracting. So on Amazon, you can get a plug-in like lavalier mics for $12. And in this case, I would need the dongle for the smartphone and just hook that up to my jacket. I'm talking a USB mic that's plugged right into my laptop right now and just using a webcam, right? So this is like a $50 blue USB mic to improve the audio here. You could create videos right off this laptop, you know, no matter, like, there's a camera, here's some audio. Even if you don't have that, you could get started. And so a few accessories, lighting and audio accessories, a light kit. I'll show you. Sure enough, it's not that great, but this is a little clip-on ring light I have with me. It's a little travel setup. I'm on the road for our book tour. And so those are a few accessories. That's level 2. But level 3, I do think eventually, don't use it as an excuse, but eventually maybe upgrade some gear. And I put a kit together. I actually have, it's actually called 𝐞𝐿. It's a cool website, 𝐞𝐿.com/Sean Cannell, my name, where I talk about, I am a tech YouTuber, so I cover a lot of different cameras and whatnot. And one of the kits I put together for about $850, you could get a Canon M50, which is a mirrorless camera, a tripod, the microphones for it, an $100 lighting kit, the SD card. And that right there is a very pro setup. I mean, $150 or $850 to $1,000 is not cheap, but that's something that I think is, if you set your targets on it, you find out that you enjoy this, you've been pumping out some content from your smartphone, that you could get really a very pro YouTube setup that would also be very flexible. You know, a kit like that is powerful for shooting photography. Maybe you have a class that's relevant for, maybe you also are trying to like level up your Instagram game or do some creative projects with other peers. You know, or maybe besides just creating that YouTube content, and maybe you even get a passion for video production and you want to freelance. You know, more and more people want people to shoot videos for them or produce maybe it's even like, it could be like a local hip hop artist or rock band at your college. Like they're like, yo, can I give you $250 to make us a music video? Like that's what I used to do all the time with my gear. And so when you invest in gear and in this industry, I found that you can really scale into all kinds of different projects with it. So I would say about $1,000. And then if you were going to be like a filmmaker, that'd be like level 4. Then you could start investing a lot more in higher end cameras and different things. If you planned on shooting weddings or, you know, really creating that crispy, stylish type of video content. But just to say it again, really just never let gear be an excuse of not starting. Like literally, you have what you need to start right now. Get those videos out and upgrade along the way.
Cool. We'll link those hardware tools that Sean mentioned up in the show notes after this, and then we'll also link up your kit, the Sean kit. I don't know if that's what you call it, but we'll call it the Sean kit in the video. So thanks for the tools recommendations. Sean, what would you say has had the biggest impact in your YouTube growth over the years?
So for me, it was understanding that YouTube is a search engine. And so YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. It's owned by Google, and Google is the first, right? And so Google is really dominating search. And the reason that's significant is because it also makes YouTube different than every other social media platform. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, LinkedIn, none of these are search engines. And so some of these other social media platforms, I kind of call them the social media hamster wheel, because you have to constantly be putting content out on them to win. Now that's okay, but I mean, the numbers are out there, like 2 to 4 posts a day on Facebook. If you're like at a mastery level, you know, 3 posts on Instagram, morning, noon, and night. Tweets 5 to 10 a day. That's a lot of content. And if you're busy, whether you're a student or whether once you get out of school, you've got a family, like it's hard to keep up with social media at the highest levels. Whereas YouTube, you know, for me, I started stumbling over these ideas right around 2010. I was researching it. I was working with some clients. And so I would put out a video. Here's one example. It was called Gift Ideas for Him. And one Christmas, I was understanding YouTube and I was understanding affiliate marketing, which means if you sign up for a site like Amazon through their associates program, they actually allow you to create your own link. And then when you put that link in the description of your YouTube video, or actually even in a blog or in an email, if someone clicks your link and buys something on Amazon, you get a percentage of the sale. That's actually how I originally went full-time on YouTube, because as a tech YouTuber, I was helping people find lighting, find cameras. And so whenever someone clicked the link, even if it was 4 to 10% of that sale, and maybe it was only a few dollars, I started to do that at such large volume that it was enough to do this full time. So back around 2011, I did a video called Gift Ideas for Him, because I was understanding that people are going to YouTube to search for things. They're typing in like, you know, how to get better grades on my quiz, or they're typing like how to save money on my taxes, or how to lose belly fat and increase strength. Literally every topic in the world, anything that people search for besides Google, people also go to YouTube to look for those answers. So similarly, I was like, okay, well, a lot of women, and you can even do the keyword research, which is like the terms and how much volume a month people look for certain phrases. Women, it could be like, or it could be even I suppose a brother or a wife or a girlfriend or whoever, they type in gift ideas for him. And so then my video would show up, and there it was. I just grabbed some stuff from around my house, like some headphones and some books and some whatever. And I just talked through a list of some gifts. I'm like, hey, I'm a guy and you're shopping for a guy. Here's some gift ideas. By the way, if you want to check out the stuff I'm talking about, there's links in the description below. And so I put that video out and it got some views. But here's what's crazy is I think that if you still search that any student right now, you could go right now to YouTube, type in gift ideas for him. It's going to be on the first page. It might be like the 3rd or 4th result. And it's 5, 6 years old. It's approaching 1 million views, this one video. And every Christmas, all year long, it gets views, but every holiday season, it gets even just, it spikes. And every year it actually makes money. It actually earns revenue. And it earns revenue through YouTube ads and through the affiliate links that are still in the description of that video. And so that single fact alone is really how I built my brand and influence on YouTube. And it's also what I encourage other people to do. So as you go into your career, a friend of mine, Steve Panette, is a real estate agent. You type in Phoenix, Arizona real estate, boom, he's the #1 video. So even though he made this video 1 or 2 years ago, it still drives leads, if you will, to his business. You know, Heather, I mentioned, she runs a homeschool channel, and on her channel, if you type in homeschool versus public school, her video comes up. So it's growing her channel, whether she posts new content or not. Any kind of service-based, search-based, topic-based, it could be about mental health, it could be about fitness, it could be about motivation, anything at all, right? Like, you'd be stunned what people are actually searching for if you position your content on the other side of those search results and you optimize your videos well. It is absolutely life-changing for your business, your brand, you as a social media influencer, no matter what you want to do. And YouTube is really the only place online to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just speaking generally, I don't know how in detail you can get with numbers, but give us an idea of maybe of kind of the low and high end of how much money you can make on a video. I don't know if I don't know how to ask that question other than like, what's the range? I mean, is there a percentage like, hey, if a video has X amount of views, what can I kind of expect revenue coming from that video?
So I have 2 answers. So the first answer is the average CPM on YouTube in the United States is $2. Now, what's CPM? It stands for cost per milli. Milli is, I believe, a Roman word for 1,000. So essentially what it means is for every 1,000 views that are monetizable, what does monetizable mean? It means that, you know, for every 1,000 views when someone's not using ad blocker or not in a region where there can't be ads. So every time you get 1,000 monetizable views, you make $2 here in the US. Now, that around the world, it could be lower, it could be higher, it could be significantly higher, but it is a good kind of benchmark for what you could earn. Therefore, if you wanted to earn $2,000 a month with that CPM, you would need to get at least 1 million views a month on your YouTube channel. And that is a pretty big challenge. Like, even right now, after doing this for years, having a really kind of a mid-sized YouTube channel level of influence myself personally, I get something like 1.5 million views a month. Now, also, my CPM is significantly higher than $2, so that still leads to some decent revenue. So that's the answer to the first question. And that would be that, again, if you're going to even get views like that, you either need to build a big brand, or it's going to depend on your niche. So if you have like a prank channel or something that's kind of like, you know, that's conducive to getting a lot of traffic, then making money off YouTube ads could be something that could turn into something significant for you. Now, I want to answer the question in a second way though, and that is that a lot of what we teach is to not even actually focus on or even worry about YouTube ads. Because the truth is, most people will maybe never get 1 million views, like maybe in the lifetime of their channel, but that actually doesn't even mean they can't make this a full-time career. And so the way you would do that is you need to be monetizing in other ways. And it actually is a mental shift of how you perceive YouTube. So YouTube, on the one hand, with ads, you could see it as a means to an end in and of itself. I want to be a YouTuber and YouTube will pay me. That's actually going to be very few that will be able to do that. But if you say, well, YouTube is actually just a distribution channel. YouTube is just like Instagram or Facebook. You can't monetize there, although they're adding different features to different creators. But you could still run a business because, for example, Steve Panette, his video for Phoenix, Arizona real estate only has like 2,000 views. His channel only has like 600 subscribers, but his YouTube influence has led him to be one of the top agents in his company, and he's making plus 6 figures, no problem, for his personal income because of connecting YouTube to another income source. Same thing for me. I mentioned with that affiliate marketing, I remember back, I think around February 2012, I made about $60 off of YouTube ads, but I made $260 off of my Amazon Associates affiliate marketing. And so that was at least 4x higher than how much I was making on ads. And, you know, to this day, I'm happy to share the numbers with you. We will earn over $200,000 profit. Now, mind you, I have a larger company and I've got a team, so things have scaled quite a bit. But we will earn over something like 200 grand off of just Amazon affiliate program, whereas YouTube ads may be less than 6 figures. So it all can kind of scale. Saying that, just to go to another level, is that there are multiple different ways to make money through your YouTube channel. And so I think at some point, you know, we do have this book, YouTube Secrets app. One of the things in the book is 10 ways to make money on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And so those are things like YouTube ads, affiliate marketing, but also like brand deals. If you build up influence in a particular category, like if you like to travel, then travel companies might want to work with you. If you like fashion, then fashion companies might want to work with you. Beauty, lifestyle, then makeup companies might want to work with you. There's even what they would call brand deal marketplaces, which you log in kind of like a social network, and you're the creator and brands have signed up, and there's like a marketplace of offers. You can select categories like gaming or pets or beauty and lifestyle or tech or other or fitness. And then you can look through and someone's like, I want to promote this new supplement, or I want to promote these yoga blocks, or I want to promote these dog collars. And so all these different niches, now companies potentially want to pay you, give you some free product. You can also do affiliate marketing on top of that because you link to the product. You're also going to get YouTube ads on top of that. So even if you only got a couple hundred views on the video and that equaled like $5 from YouTube, you're not just focusing on YouTube ads alone, you're expanding your monetization possibilities. And that is where this whole YouTube thing can become practical for students watching, because you really build a business model around it and you build a strategy around what you're doing on YouTube, not just hoping you get 1 million views and are able to go full time.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that explanation. We'll link up your book in a minute. Can we get one more question from you, and then let's talk about the book? Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about biggest mistakes. So what are the things we just should avoid doing at all costs that we wouldn't know because we don't know what we don't know, right? So what are those biggest mistakes that we should avoid when starting down that YouTube marketing or video creation in general?
Yeah, so I think the biggest mistake I see a lot of people make is by not picking a niche. We already talked about this, but for a lot of people of all ages, especially young people I talk to, they go, I want to start a YouTube channel. I say, what do you want to do? I just kind of want to inspire people. I go, okay, and what are you planning on doing? They go, I just kind of want to like film my life and like just like show what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, well, you and everybody else in the world, because I know we see people who become famous vloggers, or we see people who really get known doing that. And so I don't want to deflate anybody's dreams, but it is a lot more practical. It would be much more practical to literally start a chess channel. Everything chess, how to get better at chess, chess moves. Why? There's actually a good book by Seth Godin called Tribes, pretty famous book. And in that book, it says that we actually don't create tribes. What you do is you stand up and lead already existing tribes. What does that mean? That means when you start a chess channel, guess what? There's millions of people around the world that are interested in that. So if you put out quality content, if you're passionate about it, if it's your favorite thing, then you can already attract people who are already interested in it. You know, there's a thing called, I think it's called 𝐿𝐴𝐴, and literally they built a live event built around The Walking Dead. Again, they created a tribe. They created a fan base. They created a tribe, AMC. They start the show based on the comic books. But then someone's created a podcast and a conference that sells out, and even like the actors come to it now and all these things. What do? They planted their flag in a specific niche, a specific tribe. The majority of people don't. They go broad, they go random, and they usually have random results, and it's usually ineffective. Whereas on the flip side, when you go, look, I've been into gardening my whole life. Man, I love gardening. I'm all about gardening. I could share tips on gardening. All I want to talk about is gardening. That's what your YouTube channel should be about. And that actually reminds me of John Kohler. We tell his story in this book. He isn't really like, you know, he had no formal training of acting. He wasn't like, same thing. He wasn't confident to get on camera. He didn't really have any good technology. He uses a $150 refurbished Canon camcorder to shoot all those videos to this day. And he just loves gardening, compost, the full deal, huge gardens, all this different stuff. And a lot of times his videos are an hour long. Like he can go, I mean, he can talk just about everything, but he's got 550,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, millions of views. And it's called Growing Your Greens. And the people who love it, right? There's the people who are obsessed with salads and juicing and health and really organic gardening and all these different things. And so he's just adding value, being himself in a particular niche, and he's crushing it. And so I think that's the number one biggest mistake, is just going too broad. You know, if you try and reach everybody, you end up reaching nobody. But if you're really passionate about Pokemon Go, that could be a great channel. There's other channels about it, sure. But if you can bring something fresh, you bring a level of excellence, a level of your unique perspective, and you stay consistent at it, you can absolutely build your influence, and you make sense in the world. Because when someone lands on your YouTube channel, they're trying to figure out who you are, why it matters to them, what benefit is in it for them. In fact, Microsoft did a study, and they were studying goldfish and social media's influence on us as humans. And what they realized was that goldfish have an attention span of 9 seconds. But because of social media and interruptions and push notifications and ADD that is created from constantly being on our devices, that now humans have an attention span of 7 or 8 seconds.
Wow.
So every student watching right now can, you know, call their partner or their girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever and just be like, you know, you got the attention span of a goldfish. I just realized I was listening to this this guy talk, but it's true. So what does that mean? It means that when someone lands, this is true for your website, if someone lands on your Instagram page, if someone lands and you want to take this stuff seriously, this digital marketing or personal branding or influencer marketing seriously, you've got about 7 seconds for them to know what it's about. So if it's like, you know, chess rock stars is like on the cover and there's like chess pieces, then you're like, this is a chess channel, man. And if you love chess, you're like, I'm gonna go deeper. But if you're like, I need running tips, I'm all about marathons, and then you're leaving. But that's good, because if you try and reach everybody, you end up reaching nobody. But when you plant your flag in a niche, in a niche, then boom, you can really, really crush it. So I know it was just the one mistake, but that's the biggest one. And I think if people can get that right, you can really have great success on YouTube.
Wow, fantastic, Sean. Thank you so much for all these tips and knowledge bombs that you shared with us. You mentioned you brought in that book, that red book. Why don't you tell us more about it, and who is it for? Why would a college student, a young adult, want to pick this book up and read it?
Yeah, so thank you so much. And YouTube Secrets is it's for, I would say, everybody that wants to learn YouTube, right? So it's, you know, it's not podcast secrets and it's not gardening secrets, but yeah, if you want to learn YouTube, this is a great book that we just released. It's about 200 pages long, and it's broken into 2 sections. And so in the first section, we talk about the 7 C's of YouTube success. We touched on a few of those here. Number 1 is courage. You know, you got to just punch fear in the face and start. Number 2 is clarity. Get clear about who your target audience is, what the value it is, and 7 C's. And then the second half, we talk about kind of some advanced tactics and some current ways to grow and get ahead on YouTube in the current market space. And I think that it's for anybody who, number 1, maybe just wants to explore YouTube. If you already have a YouTube channel, this will help you grow it. If you're thinking about starting one, this is a roadmap, a blueprint, step-by-step, accessible to anybody. So what we've learned is that veterans are getting some fresh reminders or even fresh insights out of it, but that beginners or those that are just getting into YouTube are loving it because it's practical, it's easy to follow, and it's just like anything, right? If you could go try to climb Mount Everest, you're not going to just wing it. You're not just going to go. You're going to get a guide probably. You're going to get a map. You're going to get a checklist, and you're going to follow the proven paths that others have already been on. And that's not just myself and Benji, the co-author, who's the co-founder of Video Influencers, one of our projects, but over the last couple of years, we've interviewed over 100 of today's top YouTube influencers. And so we've distilled down the best practices into this book, the things that work, and also to help people to avoid the things that don't work. I will say this, YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. A lot of people in social media want overnight success, and you know this to be true though. Overnight success just really doesn't exist anywhere, or as the old adage says, overnight success takes 10 years. Yes, there is a moment where all of a sudden, like, I didn't know you, now I know you. But anybody who's been working on their craft, it could be a musician, it could be a hip hop artist. Right now, 𝐿𝐿's touring the world, selling out shows. A friend of mine went to his concert when he had 80 people there. He was selling mixtapes or handing out free, not even selling, trying to get people to take free mixtapes of his for nearly a decade before, boom, he was an overnight success. And so YouTube is going to take, of course, time. But what I think the cool thing about this book is we really believe we could shave 75% off of people's learning curve, because you can learn, like, hey, we made some mistakes. We went down the wrong road. We wasted time over here. We did this. We want to save people that time. So this is the really proven path, the blueprint for YouTube success. So if somebody wants to explore going down that road, you absolutely can. And the cool thing is you can actually grab, you know, the physical books on Amazon, but even the ebook right now, we have the book launch special. It's only like $5 or something like that. So just grab it on your Kindle or your phone and, you know, read the reviews on Amazon. We're proud of it, but of course we would be, right? Of course we'd be into it. Check out what other people are saying. We've been really encouraged by people of all ages and backgrounds, how much value they've been getting out of this book.
Awesome. Cool. You guys, do you have plans to put that in audio format?
Audiobook's coming out November 2018. And so I'm actually in Seattle, Washington as we're doing this, and we're halfway through it right now. We've been recording it. Yeah, up here. It's fun.
Awesome. All right. So we will provide the links to those, to the Amazon listings for the digital and hard copy for those books. Sean, once again, just appreciate you allowing us to steal a little bit of your time today and talk to us about YouTube and video marketing in general. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Love what you're doing and the value of this platform. It's incredible. And I'll say this, I think that more than ever before, we have to learn more than ever before because the world is speeding up. The demand for skills is speeding up. And so I'm all about it. I love taking digital courses, reading books, audiobooks, conferences, events. I really believe that lifelong leaders are lifelong learners, that even when we leave school, we never stop learning. And so thank you for all the value that you guys are adding to students. And I think it's really important to keep us on the cutting edge in the new economy and in today's world.
Great. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. So thanks for tuning in to this Stukent expert session. As you can tell, it's a little bit different format than normal, but it was packed full of all of the goods regardless. So we'll see you all soon.